episode 10, take 79 of the Frivolous and Frugal Knitting Podcast. We're two sisters who share our fondness for knitting, those things that we create or try to create, and of course our love for the knitting community. And we do it all with a little flair of both the frivolous and frugal. And so I am Frivolous Dawn.
You are. And I'm Frugal Miss Penny.
You are.
I am frugal. I am very frugal. I probably still have the same yarn my mother taught me how to crochet on somewhere in the closet. Anyway, where are you in the birth order, Dawn?
I am the fourth of 8, but I'm the youngest girl, so that makes me the baby princess.
And I am number 1. I'm the oldest, the one who, I can't go there, Dawn. There's not enough therapy. But anyway, I'm the oldest of 8. So, and we were taught early in our lives to crochet by our mother.
Oh, absolutely. Very early. I'm sure I could. Mom used to say I could crochet before I could write my name.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting at the kitchen table, right?
Absolutely.
And so since you're number 1 in the birth order, we'll now refer to you as the queen.
Oh, the queen bee.
The queen bee.
Well, thank you. I'll take that. Listen, before we get going too far, I just want to heartily welcome all our return viewers. Thanks so much for giving us some of your viewing time. We know that that's precious and we appreciate it. We also want to thank you for your lively little comments and your suggestions in our Ravelry group and on YouTube. So thanks so much. And for those of you who are first-time visitors, it's a heartfelt hello and welcome. We hope you are able to pick a tidbit or two from our discussions as we talk about our fiber journey. And likewise, if you have a suggestion or a comment, we invite you to participate in our groups. So without further ado, Dawn, would you please kick off episode 10 of Frivolous and Frugal?
All right. So we'll start off with what's on our necks. And so, just so you know, we're not hiding anything when we wear stuff around our neck, like a hickey or anything. So it's not. Did you? I'm thinking at my age? No. All right. Anyway, I am wearing Changing Lights. This is a shawl that both Penny and I started as our New Year's Day cast on.
Yes.
And I'll pull it off just to show you. It is by, I think it's Beth Weissman, isn't it?
It is. Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer
Weissman,
yes. So it's a center start, and I'm going to see if you can see that lace.
Ooh.
Now it's hard to see because obviously it's black yarn.
No, actually against your white wall, Dawn, that shows up nicely.
Yeah, but when I'm wearing a black top, it doesn't show. But it was a center start, and I think if I recall right, I had to do several starts to get that center portion started so it looked nice. And so that was a good learning process. And then the yarn I used was Leading Men Fiber Arts is the black. I think that's a darkest hour colorway. The red was from my stash, but the more I look at it, to me it reminds me of a Malabrigo sock.
Oh.
And it's the Spanish word for cherry. I forget the name of it. But I didn't have a label, so I'm going to assume that's what it was. And then the white is a Suburban Stitcher, Rorschach, and you'll see that several times today. Yeah, so Penny and I cast it on both New Year's Day, so that's been fun. I haven't worn it yet, so today's kind of the first day, so I kind of forgot about it, to be honest.
So have I. You're going to see why I forgot about mine.
So what are you wearing? Around your neck.
I am wearing, for the first time, a shawl that I don't know why I haven't worn before. It is Pearless by Romy Hill. And I have to tell you, I don't know that I have found a more delightful fiber. This is out of Mrs. Crosby's hat box base. Look at the depth in that tonal. Can you see
love that?
I know. And for some reason, I had it in my head that green is not a good color for me, so I've never worn it. But I think I'm going to just wear it anyway, right?
Oh, I don't think it, especially against that black. Maybe if you were wearing something white or so, it wouldn't. But I think it looks very nice right there. I love that pattern.
I do too.
Where did you get Mrs. Crosby's?
I think I picked that up at the Madison knitting
Oh,
probably 4, 5 years ago, maybe.
wow,
I
we were
can't
so
remember.
young then.
We were. Hmm. I know it'd be hard to recognize this today looking back. Hey, but you know what? I bought it again from her when I was there this last time because I like it. And now I don't know what I'm going to knit with it, but I bought 2 skeins rather than 1 so that I could put something together. Very drapey. It's got
Yeah, it
some
looks
quilts
nice.
in it. So that's what I'm wearing.
Why do I think Mrs. Crosby's from Chicago? That the dyer?
Yeah, the dyer. She is so personable. We
Yeah,
chatted with her. We were at her
right.
booth for a couple
Yeah,
of
I'm
months.
sure I bought some too. I'd have to go dive dashing or diving or whatever that term is.
Mhm. Yes. Well, just tie a rope around your ankle in case you fall in and we can't find you. We'll pull you out. Um,
Or follow my Visa trail, right? Oh man. If there's
I
any
know.
good about the pandemic is we can't go to things to yarn
Mhm.
exhibits or you know how they do displays at craft shows and yarn knitting events and all those kind of things. So,
I know.
all right.
Well, and if you don't mind, I would just like to bring the viewers' attention to Pearl.
Oh yes,
Today,
Pearl's
Pearl is wearing the willow cowl. I have knit, I think, 4 of these willow cowls. Whoa. Um, This one is from Knit Circus Thriller Base, and it is in the colorway Pisces. So it is really just a very nice little cowl, drapey cowl.
Yeah, I think I've done one now too, and I like it. It's one of those that I think you could do multiple times and get totally different looks. And yeah, I don't know. I've been doing cowls again lately, so that looks very
Mm,
nice. I'm sorry the bee fell off Pearl.
I know
Now everybody knows where she
where
was.
she was. Well, she could just pipe up sometime. You never know.
Eh,
Especially if she takes flight.
um, what's on your needles? What you working on?
Well, actually, right now, I am working on 2 things that were my UFOs that I haven't finished. So and I've decided since I don't know the correct pronunciation for Inishmin, I'm going to call it the Kevin Costner sweater
Okay,
because
that
I
might
think
catch on.
he would sport this quite nicely. So if you remember, I only had a couple of inches last time. So here I am. I'm knitting it in the Fiber Company's Erin Moore, which I really like. It's a nice Donegal tweed worsted weight. Very nice. So it'll be in a men's size large, so I have quite a ways yet to knit. But
And
thanks,
that's
Mike.
when you did that new hem on that one, right?
I did. It was a provisional turned hem cast on. So I didn't obey the instructions because they usually tell you to do a purl row before you do that provisional so that when you turn it up, it's got that rib.
Oh,
I
sure.
like that rib.
Oh,
So
good.
I just disobeyed and did my own thing.
You are a wild child.
I am a rebel. How
All
about
right.
you? What's on your
I
needle?
am continuing to work on goldfish memories. So I got a little bit more done than last week.
Oh, yes, you
And
did.
it's been interesting to see what people say about my error. So, um, of course, I was teasing. I was hoping Penny didn't see it last week, but then it was obvious she did. So then everybody else who I saw this week, they're like, oh, yeah, Dawn, it was pretty obvious. We saw it. So about half the people say leave it. It's a design feature.
Mhm.
The other half say do the duplicate stitch. But I like now the introduction of the cream.
I do too.
This is all leading men fiber arts.
Ooh.
The um, the cream I think is called Heirloom. This is called Dirty Truce, I think.
Oh, like dirty chartreuse?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I bought this, I think, at ZK last year, ZK19. And so, you know, I told you, but ZK got canceled for this coming June. So all of us were frantically knitting all of our yarn that we bought last year so that in theory we could buy more this year. So, but I do like it. So I'm just going to keep working on it. I was twinning it with Math Patty. And
Yeah.
so it was so good to see her on our virtual knitting this week too. I'm just
Wow.
going to keep working on it. Again, I don't know if this will be a gift or not, but um, I'm liking the pattern, and it's by Casa Pinka. I don't think I said that. And I am on section 5, and I don't even know there's like 20 sections. So I have a
Oh,
ways to go.
I think you could sport those colors, Dawn. In all honesty, I
Yeah.
think that muted chartreuse, I think you
Yeah,
could pull
because
that
it's
off.
muted,
Yeah.
and I don't want that right next to my face because then it makes me look a little yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so far I'm liking it, and I love the yarn. Of course, I've been talking about leading men for a while. So,
I know. What
all
is it?
right.
You find a specific dyer that you really
I
like and
know. I
ooh,
know.
hard to
And
move past that.
I think both of us are committed right now to help the indie dyers.
Yeah, we are.
So as much, if I'm going to start a new project, if at all possible, I'm going to try to buy it from a local yarn shop or from an indie dyer just to help support their businesses.
I
Um,
agree.
yeah.
I agree. Well, I do have one more project on my needles that I brought today, and that is that Knit Pearl Hunters channel cable pillow cover. So, as you suggested, Dawn, being just one of my wonderful knitting mentors, you asked me to put a marker where I was last week.
Yeah.
So, I have knit the cables.
Boy, are those
Aren't
looking
they
nice.
pretty? So, I don't even know if there's any errors. I've forgotten to check. So, if you see one, let me know. But this is one that I cannot knit when I'm chatting online. So essentially what we're going to do is make a long rectangular panel and seam it. And I think we even put some buttons on it. I'm not sure.
I think
But
I saw
I,
some, yeah, pictures with buttons for some reason.
yeah, I think you can see the cables with a little distance. So as Dawn mentioned before, this is part of our UFO club, and it was supposed to be finished by the end of April. That hasn't happened, but I'm just going to keep working on it. Right?
Yeah, I think that's the whole goal of UFOs is to just keep working.
Yes.
And this morning I'm thinking I'm going to get organized for the first time in my life. I'm going to knit like 1 hour a day on each of my projects.
1 hour a
Doesn't that
day?
sound delightful?
It does.
Okay, so we'll see how that goes.
I want to know how you do it. I just want to know how you manage to do
I
that.
know, and then sleep and work. And so both of us are in finals week this week, so it's going to be a stressful week for our students, therefore kind of stressful for us. But after that, I guess summer vacation kind of starts. And so maybe an hour a day.
I think I could do probably an hour combined a day, but down here in our neck of the woods, when summer hits, your grass goes crazy. You
Yeah,
have to mow.
yeah,
The gardens get full of weeds.
I
It's just
know.
one thing after another.
I know. So
And
maybe it
driving.
was wishful thinking.
Yeah, well, maybe you can pull it off.
Yeah, I don't know. In my head, it sounds like a great idea. In my head, a lot of things sound like a great idea.
Because there's only one voice in your head, and that's yours. Now that's where the danger could be.
I guess I can't tell you about the other voices. Okay.
Please don't until therapy when it all comes out. That's when I want to hear it.
Now, the last project on my needles right now is I just started a Bumble hat. Now,
Oh,
that is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. Penny showed one um, a few weeks ago, but I'm again leading men fiber arts. This is their neon, I think it's called Neon Party. Look in our show notes. You know, all of our show notes will show up at the bottom toolbar down below, but also in our Ravelry group. So you can search us on the tabs um, or on the groups tab on Ravelry, and then just type in Frivolous and Frugal. And we link all of our things. And then each of us do project pages too, so feel free to look at those. So one of my students' daughters wants a bright hat, and also she wants 2 pom-poms. So now here's the issue I had. I've started this multiple times. The pattern calls to use a size 5 for the ribbing, and then you jump to a 10.5 for the pattern. And I love the fabric that you created. I just like the look of that hat and the pom-pom. But mine, if I use those, I bet this hat would have been for a fairly good sized adult, not for a child. So I've dropped down now and I'm trying a 4 and then on the ribbing and then I'll jump to an 8 for the body and I'll go from there. So I'd hate to think I'm becoming a little loose in my knitting, but maybe I am.
Dawn, I think
I'm
you
loose. I'm going to put that right down at the bottom of the screen. Whoop, whoop, I'm loose. I always
well,
like,
you've
oh,
kind of always been a looser knitter than I have been, though. Your
oh,
gauge is
definitely looser than you, but I tend to always get gauge.
that's
So no
true.
matter what the pattern says, the majority of the time, I just can knit to that gauge. But now, and if I ever were to do a garment where gauge was important, I would definitely have to do a gauge swatch. And then I don't know too, do you think gauge changes sometimes based on the needles you're using?
I think so. And I discovered that even with this Kevin Costner sweater because I was using Chioigus prior to this, and I felt like my yarn was dragging on those. Moved back to an Addy Turbo, and it's been fine.
Yeah,
So I think, yeah, that's what it's on. So my gauge was initially pretty tight with those Chioigus, and I really like them, but it
I
was just
love
making my fabric too tight.
I love the cables, those red cables.
I do too. I
Yeah,
like the firmness of them.
yep.
Yeah.
Although I've been a Addy girl all along, really.
Yeah, I like them. They're nice and slick. I like the rounder points for most fibers. Then again, there's some fibers where that doesn't work. You need something a bit more pointed.
I'm going to blame you for my Addy addiction
Are you? Oh,
because
then
when
I'm
I
going to
got
give
back
you
into
some
knitting, you told me that. So then our niece could blame us for her Addy addiction because we told her might as well
compliments.
start with Addies and
Yeah. Mhm.
go from there. So
Well, when you enable, that's what happens.
so I think that's all I'm working on right now. Yeah, anything off your needles?
Yes, as a matter of fact, let me put this
Do
down.
show.
I will. Here is my changing light. Now you will see that I
Oh,
have not tucked in ends yet. It is blocked. Um, Dawn has taught me how to really aggressively block. Mine is just in pinks. I'm going to say even more. It's a pink, like a Pepto-Bismol pink. Um, can't
that's
guess what we
amazing.
were treated with as child or children. So basically, just the same, um, the very same pattern that Dawn had. However, I added to mine. I extended the pattern because I like something a little bit longer. If it's shorter, I tend to lose it. And when I'm walking around all day at work and stuff, it falls off. So I added an additional mesh and an additional garter row to mine, which just extended it about 6.5 or 7 inches. But
Yeah. I
once I
wanted
put
to
it
I
in,
wanted to do that too, but I used a partial skein of yarn to start with. So I
ah,
didn't have enough. Now in hindsight, I had some left over some for some projects I've done after that, but you know, I suppose you could always go back and cut it and add more if
yeah,
you
I think
wanted
you
more
could.
length.
If you
Yeah.
really liked it, and in fact, you know what? If I would like to redo Pearlless again, but I would like to make it bigger. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look at the math to see how I can do that and or change my fiber. Go
Yeah, I
to,
love that shawl.
yeah,
I did mine in a light gray. I should wear it more often too.
yeah.
Um, so tell me about, you've blocked that already?
I did block it, which is how I found my mistake.
Which
So
mistake?
it
No,
was
I'm
in
talking
here.
about your the one you just showed, changing
Yeah,
lights.
changing light. Yeah, I haven't
What's the
mistake.
mistake?
Well, it's wonky, and I don't know if it happened. Hang on, you'll be able to see it here. Okay. So you're looking at that center. As you said, it's a center
Yeah.
support. Do you see how it's wonky right here?
Yeah, it is, I
I
guess.
pulled it way too tight, I think.
Okay.
I don't, and it's hard to see. I want to put it over your white wall, but I can't. Anyway, I can't do that.
Come
Anyway,
over, I'd love it.
oh, hey, don't tempt me. I'm ready to run away for a while. So, and then I didn't pull it enough down here. So I guess when it comes to blocking, I know a lot of people have different parts of knitting that they don't care for. Mine's blocking. I'll tuck in ends all day long. I don't mind soaking it. It's the blocking. And I guess it's because I kind of piecemeal all my blocking, so it's never easy. It's always cumbersome, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, my husband helps, so that's nice to have an equal pull.
Yeah, and I think Mike would help if I ask him. I just forget about doing it.
Now, you do what I do. That is, I don't trim my edges, or I trim them just a little bit shorter. And
Mhm.
then after it's blocked, it'll pull as it needs to, and then I can go back and trim.
You
So,
know, older woman at the very first knit shop I went to, her name was Martha. She wasn't that much older than I am, but Miss Martha was known as the finisher. So the women would bring their projects to her and she would finish them for us. Not for me, but for others in the shop. And one time I asked her why she left her ends so long. And she said, Penny, there have been times where I've even gone so far as to block something and then decided I didn't like it and frog it.
oh,
So then you're not untucking edges. It's easy enough to do. And so I've found that to be true. I just leave them. And if I want to frog it after I block it, I do.
wow, that's some wisdom there too, huh?
It is.
So, our niece Brianna finished her big wrap. We're trying to get her to come on here, so maybe after she watches it, she'll feel pressured. But she
Yes.
got to block for the first time, so I thought that
Yeah,
was exciting. And everybody in her family modeled it, so that
they
was
did.
exciting.
Well, and you guided her through that. So isn't it neat that as aunties we can do that?
Yeah,
We can just
absolutely,
pass it
absolutely.
from
I love every
generation.
minute of it. All right, I
All right.
finished
Yes, I have.
Shoddy Chevron, the Sherry Chevron shawl by Amba O'Brien.
Oh.
And I gave it a soft block, meaning I just steamed it because I just finished it yesterday. And so I didn't want to do a wet block and then not be able to show it today. But yeah, it is a little bit wider than my wingspan. So of course I'd like it like a foot longer than that. But then I
Mm.
would have had to change the pattern. But yeah, this is Sun Valley yarn with their merino cashmere nylon blend. I think this is Frost and this is Medieval. I like it. I may have to do more stuff in this dark teal. Um,
Is that a dark teal?
yeah, it is kind of a blue. It's more green.
It is. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Ooh, Dawn.
I
I
like
do
it.
like
Yeah.
that. Something
Chevron
about
seems
that
to be coming
geometric.
back, huh?
I think so. Do you
Yeah.
remember what was it? What was that cowl that
Oh,
was the rage?
yeah, it
You
was the rage.
it was a
Zigzagular.
chevron, poly chevron
Oh,
cowl.
that's what it was. I
Yeah.
saw. Oh, I'd have to. I'm sure I started that sometime. Never finished it. Yeah.
I think you frogged
So
it.
Stephen West came out with a chevron wrap this
Painted
week.
chevrons, isn't
Oh
it?
my goodness. Stop the madness.
Oh, you know you're going to buy that one. You know that, right?
Well, I know it just went on sale yesterday though, so
Oh, your self-control amazes
yeah,
me.
yeah. Maybe one more day I can hold out. Hey, is there anything else off your needles?
There is, and it is the February hat. So the February hat is from the monthly hat collection that came out last year on
Oh, I
Ravelry.
like that one.
This is by Kate Gagnon Osborne or Ganon. It depends on how you want to pronounce that. And I apologize, darling, if I mispronounced it. Again, it's just out of Encore because it's washable. I have all the ends tucked in and I have the pom-pom made. I just haven't washed it and blocked it. So that's what I'm going to do and put the pom-pom on it with the buttons since, you know, I added that little skill to my repertoire. Yeah,
Amazing.
I know.
Amazing.
And it is another Christmas 2020 gift.
Oh, stop. Christmas
Well,
2020.
yeah. Now when it gets mailed out, that'll be another story.
You're putting pressure on the rest of us to start it.
Uh,
All right, and I have one more.
You do?
I finished the Exordium shawl,
Oh, I want to see that one.
and
On.
okay, get it straight
Ah,
here. It too is a triangle, asymmetrical triangle. And again, I don't know why, I just love the little stripes. This was a
yeah.
fun little pattern to do too. And then just a big garter section, then it repeats.
How
Yeah. And
nice.
this also was Suburban Stitcher. It's a single ply yarn. So I think, what's the term they use? It blooms nicely. So I bought this at ZK last year as well. And I'm thinking Miss Laurel, our dear knitting friend, is the one who knew the designer, or the designer was celebrating something in her life and this pattern was free for a while on Ravelry. I don't know if it still is. But
So
yeah, navy.
can I ask a question about single plies? I'm not so sure that I understand those because to me they tend to sometimes be splitty. Um, I guess I don't know how to use them or the proper garment to use them.
Well, I have very limited knowledge. You know, it's not plied, I think is the word, right?
Right,
So it's a
right.
single strand. And I could see why it may vary a little bit in thickness, but I don't know if I would ever use a single for socks. I think
You
I
know,
need that high twist on a sock. But for a shawl, I think maybe, and don't use it in garments that are going to get a lot of movement. So maybe a
that's
sweater
I
isn't the
did that.
best,
I
where you
know.
would get the movement from your arms and things,
Yep,
and it
I
would
did that.
pill. Now,
Mhm.
that's all just an educated guess on my part because I've not knit it, but I don't know. I kind of I'm liking these barely speckled yarns.
Mhm.
Of course, I used it here too, and I think I've used it in every other project I've started. And this was one of them on my UFO list for the year. So I'd have to go back and look to see when I started it. But
Oh,
again, I was on this determined to use all of that ZK yarn before we went back. So I will definitely have it done before we go back next year. And I kind of wonder if Stitches Midwest may cancel too. That's the first week of August in Schaumburg, Illinois. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But
probably will, for
yeah.
sure. Cool.
So do you ever find your knitting goes in color trends?
No, because I don't buy yarn, Dawn. I'm
Oh,
using
that's
a
right.
stash.
Yeah, that's kind of boring. Okay. So the frivolous side of color trends. Like I see myself doing navy a lot right now, and it's like, wow, I guess I hadn't thought about navy for a while, because I tend to be black, gray, red, and white. But
Oh,
yeah, so that's
pink.
what's.
You knit a lot of
Oh,
pink.
that's true. I do need a lot of pink. Yep.
Princesses like to wear pink. It's pink is a princess's
Okay,
color.
the
Mine
queen
would
and
be a matronly black.
with a
Hey,
matching purse. I was thinking the
or
queens have those cute little purses they carry.
yeah, but mine would have to come. It would have to. I would have to spray paint one of my Walmart bags black.
Or
Hey,
use a Sharpie.
I like the way
You
you
could have a
think.
designer Sharpie one.
I could. I could. I
Too
could be the
fun.
envy. I could be the envy of all frugal people. Before before we close today, did you learn anything this week?
Well, I'm not going to talk about personal things. Um, so of course, I'm a week off of starting summer vacation. So in my mind now, it's like I have to think of what's next. And I say we declare something that no new patterns can come out.
Oh,
It's
I love
madness. I get so crazed about new patterns. And then, of course, we start sending text messages. And then I have to stop and look for yarn and stop and look for patterns. So let me show you what I'm thinking of for the summer. And then you can tell me that I am totally out of connection with reality. And so I'm going to
that
try
would
to
be
share
called
this and see if we can do
delusion.
this. Yes, I'm kind of delusional. So I'm hoping this shows up.
Voila, look at you, you tech
Oh,
savvy
stop,
genius.
stop. Okay,
Oh,
so look at this.
oh,
There it is. If you
oh.
know me at all, I've been talking about this shawl for so long that everybody's like, just shut up and knit it. So because I finished Sherry Chevron last night, this is my cast on today. So I'm going to officially jump into brioche. Um, what I would say looks like fairly intense brioche to me anyway. And then our friend Miss Pam has started it as well. So we're going to kind of do it together. So
I cannot
hopefully in the
wait.
next couple of weeks, you'll either see some progress or um, I
Yarn
will,
barf, one of the
or,
two.
or I will be institutionalized. In which case they probably won't let me take my needles. So I'm doing mine, of course, with the black as the background, and or what they would call the contrast or the main color, maybe contrast color. But my other color is this amazing color of it's called metallurgy. It's from Northbound Knitting, which I think is Lisa Much's yarn from Canada, and it's like a blend of silvers and golds and bronzes. Now there's no sparkle in it, but it does have a high silk content. So I am hoping it's an amazing contrast. And then the black I got again from Leading Men Fiber Arts. Their Diva line has some silk in it. So, oh,
Ooh. Oh, but just because I know you, I'm sure that that's not the only what's next
oh
on your
no, yeah.
list.
So this is
Uh-huh.
number one. Look at
Okay.
this.
Ooh.
This came out this week.
It did. It did.
Oh my, is that not an amazing brioche? So
Is
there's
it
some lace in there.
brioche?
Yep, I don't know if you can see the mouse, but this
Yeah.
pink here is brioche and then
Yeah.
this gold is brioche.
And you invited Miss Brianna and I to knit that with you.
I
Neither of us have done brioche.
I know it's not a good first project, by the way,
You
so I
don't
shouldn't have
think?
done that. No, you need to do something simple first. I think up here it is just those twisted stitches and of course a lovely lace pattern, but that's 1,200 yards.
Wow.
So, and don't you think it just has to have silk
It
to
does.
get
I
that
would
drape?
think so.
So, I may
Mhm.
have to look at some different.
Well, we might have to do it. Why not just tackle it? What do we have to lose except our sanity?
And lots of Zoom sessions, huh? All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
This was a free pattern on Ravelry the last couple of weeks.
Ooh,
I love
I like that.
crescent shawls. And I think that's just a nice blend of some different colors, huh?
I do too. I like that, Dawn.
I
I,
do
I
too.
think I'd be willing to cast that one on with you.
All right. I may or may not have ordered some yarn for that.
And I'll start digging. Is it
I
four
plead the
colors?
fifth.
Is it four or
Three,
five?
I think it's three colors. A speckly, this purpley speckly, and then this pink, and then the
Okay.
purple.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
gee, I
Three
think
colors.
mine's are in shades of pink.
Okay.
All right.
Princess pink. Anyway, go ahead.
Princess pink. I should never have said that. Oh, it's going to stick with me. Okay. Of course, Melanie Berg. What is not stunning about this?
I know. I know.
Oh, man. I might get Brianna to do this one because she likes the geometric shape.
She does.
But that is a two strands of lace held together. Or
But
a sport, she said.
or a
So,
sport. So we couldn't substitute a fingering. It would affect the size and
yeah,
gauge.
it would affect it. It'd make it smaller. But I think I might have been doing some searching. And is it Fiber Company that you're using?
Uh-huh.
I think they have a lace weight called Meadow. And I am thinking a dark, dark charcoal gray with a light, light, light gray. Wouldn't that be pretty?
That would be very pretty.
Yeah. So,
All
okay.
right.
So,
So for the
but
record, we can't cast all these on. So you've got to get your plan in place here. You said you were going to be organized.
I'm not.
What
Oh,
else? What else? Oh,
stop, stop, stop. Is that not one of the most stunning shawls? Of course, one
oh, Dawn.
favorite designer.
I know. You
So
just.
I did order a kit for this.
Oh.
I know black being
Oh,
the undercolor, and then
oh,
Leading Men
Dawn.
Fiber Arts has a kit of neon minis.
So you ordered it from them, not
Yes,
from
I did. It
Stephen.
wasn't a kit specifically for this shawl. It was for another shawl, but the yardage was right. So
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
somebody, Sparkly Amy from our knitting group ordered right from Stephen and Penelope's, and hers are all blues, and they are amazingly stunning.
Are they
I
real?
mean, breathless.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that one done too. All right,
So are
and
you two going to twin?
I
That
don't
one?
know. I don't
Mhm.
know.
Okay.
Think of these all for the summer. I'd almost have to crank one a month.
Well, if you knit for at least an hour every day on each project,
And then learn to knit in my sleep. I might be able to figure it
okay,
out.
that's
Yeah, so those are some things I'm thinking about for summer. The reality is I won't get all of those done because everything else comes up. So Hohi puts out a pattern yesterday that's another one skein wonder. And then
Melanie Berg,
yeah,
uh, another stripe. Wasn't that the
I
name of the
know,
new one?
I know. So, and I already have several kits that I've purchased for other shawls and cowls. So it's all that stuff kind of that I'm intrigued to do. So I guess
Yeah,
what I'm learning is it's okay to look at everything. The reality is I can't knit it all. And so
right.
how do you prioritize? And I am not doing a very good job with that. So any suggestions I would appreciate because um, what I don't want to do is have another 12 UFOs,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah, I know.
maybe as I finish one, cast on the next, that would be the most logical. But 12 and 1400 yards for some of those, that is,
It's a lot of knitting.
yeah, that diva is a circular shawl. You go almost to 800 stitches per row by the time you're out in that lace section. So I have a couple of issues with that. I need needles long enough to handle 800.
Right.
So I've got some 60-inch. If that doesn't work, I may have to consider buying those interchangeable sets where you can connect
Mm-hmm.
multiple cables because I find at 400, the 40-inch ones are getting too tight. So then you need to move to the 60s. So I
Mm-hmm.
can't imagine getting close to 800. So stay tuned.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then I still have to find time to crank
I know.
on the sock machine. So what are you learning?
The only thing I'm learning is how to do the magic knot.
Oh, that's a nice thing to know too, don't you think?
I will tell you I don't like it, Dawn.
Why?
I don't like it. I don't like knots in my knitting or my crocheting, for the record. I'm doing it for that scrappy blanket, but I don't like it.
Right. That's where I do it. I do it in some of my shawls, but remember, you can't do it if there's any silk content because the knot won't hold.
Oh, I might not have known that. It's
Well,
for my scrappy blanket and it's worsted, so I'm sure it doesn't have any silk, but I
right.
didn't
Or
realize
at
it.
least a high content silk. Some is like 10% silk, which would probably be okay. But that northbound knitting that I'm going to do for Sizzle Pop is 50-50 merino silk.
Okay, so you couldn't do it there.
Well, I would, if a knot's going to let loose, it'll let loose in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I've not had my magic knots fail.
I don't think I'm concerned about them failing. I just don't like the knobbiness of it.
Oh, yeah.
When I knit, I want it to be polished. If
Right.
I'm going to put all that time and effort into it, and to me, knitting obstructs that. I can't even explain how. I mean, I'm going to use it obviously because it has a purpose, but I'm learning it. I'm forcing myself to adjust to it.
Well, were we not taught from the beginning, never put knots in your knitting? So that's a hard concept to get over. So,
Well, and I think that's probably something I'm going to hang on to simply because I like the fabric without knots in it. Yeah.
yeah.
But that's all right.
So that's what I'm thinking about. And I'm sure there'll be a big learning curve with all of that. So,
Yeah,
and
me
I
too.
heard Casa Pinka posted last night about the success of local yarn shop day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
Cool.
18,000 of her vouchers were put into Ravelry, so they were activated.
Wow.
And she did some math, and I didn't pay that close attention, hence the
Yeah.
checkbook issues I have. She figured a little over $800,000 of yarn was purchased last week to support that pattern. So
Wow.
kudos again to people who are out there supporting the local community, the local shop owners, the local dyers. Um,
Absolutely.
and I think depending on how long the quarantine lasts, we may be buying that way for a while. Well, those of us who buy yarn,
Hmm.
I could send you
Not
some
me.
yarn.
My 1970s colors are coming back.
I
They're
love
coming back.
harvest gold rocks.
Avocado green. Oh, yes. Hey, just watch them. They're coming back.
So Pearl is eventually going to be cool again.
Pearl has always been cool. That smoke, those smoky eyes, yeah, they're there. Hey,
Okay.
speaking of coming back, it's time that we let you know that we'll be coming back with our next episode.
Oh, that was a nice
It is
segue.
over.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, and we do appreciate. Go ahead.
no, I think we probably understate that as how much we enjoy doing this. Of course, we'd rather be face to face, but
Absolutely.
just the camaraderie of not only being sisters, but sharing our love for knitting. It's kind of a win-win.
It is.
Yeah,
Lots of fun.
kind of fun. Spread the love. Now, as far as social medias, we're on all the social medias as far as like Ravelry, Instagram, Facebook. We will put links to all of those in our show notes. So feel free to contact us if you have any suggestions. You know, we haven't thought about a knit along, but maybe we can do some thinking about a summer knit along. Maybe not a specific pattern, but maybe a UFO, finish a UFO
Yeah.
over the summer.
Well, that would be a great way to support the Knit Girls Stash Dash too.
You know what? That is great. Yeah, that should start here pretty soon, huh?
I would think.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're going to do it. Unfortunately, I'm so far behind in podcasts. I don't have
Yeah.
a clue. But
Okay.
if you do know about that, we could certainly do that to support them also.
Yeah. So if anybody knows, let us know. Otherwise, we can try to check that out as well.
Hmm.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks so much. We've enjoyed our time with you together, and it's our hope that you will find a sweet twist of the frivolous and frugal in your knitting. And until our next episode, talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.